Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of System Shock Radio. I, as always, am your host, Nigel, and without further ado, we are going to get right into it. So, we are going to start with the answer to last week's riddle. So, just to recap, last week's riddle was this: what starts with an E, ends with an E, and only has one letter in it. Read it to you one more time. What starts with an E, ends with an E, but only has one letter in it. And the answer to that is not the letter E, but the answer to that is an envelope. You usually put letters inside of an envelope and you mail it to someone. So that's the answer to that riddle. If you got it right, congratulations to you. Okay, so moving on, we have quite a few topics to talk about today, and we are going to start with this recent outbreak of coronavirus. Now, coronavirus is something that has swept the nation, it seems. A lot of people are in a mass hysteria and scared of catching corona. It's interrupted travel. People are being quarantined. People are being tested for it. It's so. With that being said, it's something that you shouldn't take lightly, but you should also be cautious of. Of course, practice good hygiene. Always wash your hands after every visit. Sanitize, clean yourself as often as possible, and just be super careful. If you're sick, then protect yourself, even if it means missing work, missing school. It doesn't matter as long as you keep yourself safe and keep others safe. If so, that's all I'm gonna say about that. And just like I said, be cautious of it. Be careful of it with it, and this goes for any type of virus or disease. Just be cautious of it. Now, from what I've seen, it would seem that in China, someone has already been cured of it. So that means there is a potential cure. So that, and when I see that, that gives me hope. Like, okay, so there's a cure for this. Okay, but moving on to another bit of a sad topic, a bit of a touchy topic, and that's coping with heartbreak. It's something that all of us have either dealt with or we know someone who's dealt with it, myself included. And heartbreak, trust me, is not fun at all. Oh, it's something that sucks. It's something that when it happens to you, hello Darren, good to see you. It's something that when it happens to you, it can mess your whole day up, mess your whole week up, and just slow you down so much because you don't want to do anything because you're so heartbroken and almost dead inside. But believe it or not, there are ways to deal with it. But first, before we talk about how to deal with it, what causes it? There's a variety of things that can cause heartbreak to occur, and that's something that happened in your personal life, something that may have happened with someone else, maybe something you've heard, something you've seen, something you've read. And hello, Shai, good to see you. Um, Something that's happened in your life could cause you to feel heartbroken. And the thing about heartbreak is that the ways to deal with it, there are ways to deal with it, but it's going to take some time. It's not something that can go away overnight. If it's something that could go away overnight, that would be awesome. But unfortunately, that's not the reality of it. So, so now the question is, what can you do to overcome heartbreak? There's a variety of things that can be done to sort of cope with heartbreak. Hey, if you're religious, you may pray, read your Bible. Sometimes taking walks. I talked in the past about going outside and seeing nature and seeing the beauty within nature, or finding a hobby that you may enjoy, whether it's painting, coloring, maybe watching someone that you love so much on YouTube, perhaps, or on television. A lot of people love to watch painters on YouTube who just paint, and that eases them. Listening to music and everything that could help to heal with heartbreak. It'll put you in a better state of mind. And it actually goes hand in hand with the next topic, because this topic as well could help you deal with heartbreak. And that's the company you keep, why the people that surround you are so important. When you're surrounded by people who are positive, who are uplifting, that'll bring your whole day up exponentially. That could help you in the long run. If you're surrounding yourself with people who are negative all the time, I understand not every day is going to be a good day, and there's some days where you or someone else is just having a bad day. Hey, it happens. It's happened to me. God knows how many times. But when it's someone who's constantly negative all the time, that actually has an effect on you, because when they're negative, now you're negative, and it just keeps going and going, almost like a wildfire. Or so. Let's turn that into a positive. If you have someone, or if you are someone that's positive, that's always thinking optimistically, it can spread like a wildfire to someone else. I'll say, hey, I'm optimistic. I'm going to fill you with some of that optimism as well. And it's enough. And it even goes into this next topic. These three topics sort of blend together, and that's why I love them so much. We're going to talk about some of my favorite things to read is Aesop's Fables. Now, Aesop is a man who, and I believe I may have pronounced that wrong. If I did, I apologize. Aesop is a man who wrote fables that told stories, but within each story was a certain lesson. And he talks about the company you keep in one of his stories that I'm actually going to read for you right now. This is called The Farmer and the Stork. All right, here we go. A farmer placed his nets on his newly sown plowlands and caught a quantity of cranes, which came to pick up his seed. With them he trapped a stork also. The stork, having his leg fractured by the net, and was earnestly besought the farmer to spare his life. Pray save me, master, he said, and let me go free this once. My broken limb should excite your pity. Besides, I am no crane. I am a stork, a bird of excellent character. And see how I love and slave for my father and mother. Look too at my feathers, my apologies. They are not the least like those of a crane. The farmer, my apologies, laughed aloud and said, "It may be all as you say. I only know this. I have taken you with these robbers, the cranes, and you must die in their company." And basically, the moral of that is that birds of a feather do indeed flock together. So if you're surrounding yourself with negative people and you're going around doing negative things, you're going to be constantly surrounded by negativity. If you go into a grocery store or expect to be surrounded by fruits, vegetables, produce, dairy, and everything, it's what you're surrounding yourself with. If you surround yourself with that, that's all you're going to see. So that's why the company you keep is so important. That's why Aesop is one of my favorites. All the time when I was a kid, I used to read his fables. In fact, I believe I still have a huge book of his fables that I enjoy so much. And there's so many lessons. Like there's the one with the dog and the bone where he looked in the water and saw that the dog in the water had a bigger bone. So he dove in to try to get that bigger bone. And he dove in and lost his bone onto his reflection. And the moral of that is to be grateful for what you have. So that's why Aesop is always one of my favorites. All right, now, with that being said, let's move on to the next topic. And we're going to talk about an interesting phenomenon called the 27 Club. Now, what is the 27 Club? The 27 Club is a group of they're not an actual group, like they're not together. In fact, I'm sure a good number of them have never met, but they're basically a collection of musicians, singers, and rappers that all died at the age of 27. So notable members of this include Kurt Cobain, the lead singer of Nirvana, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones, etc., Jim Morrison of the Doors. And when I was looking at the 27 Club, one thing that I noticed and one thing that was interesting to me is that a majority of the members of the 27 Club, not every member, but a majority of them died from drug use or murder or some kind of accident. And so, for drugs, that just goes to serve as sort of a pseudo PSA that drug use is something that you should be careful of. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to live your life, but just know if you are someone who takes drugs or knows someone who takes drugs, those actions ultimately have consequences. And these people, well, like Janis Joplin, she overdosed and she was found dead in her hotel room at the age of 27. 27, that is super young. To put in comparison, Michael Jackson, when he passed away, was 50. Prince was a few years older, and there's people out here dying at 70 and 80. But to compare that to 27, that's a huge difference. And then those who were murdered, that is unfortunate and always to read that people are murdered. And some kind of accidents like car crashes, a few road incidents. But it's something that interests me, and it interests me that there were so many members of the 27 Club. There were some that I've heard of, some that I haven't heard of, but it's something that seems so interesting in the 27 Club. But that is about it for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in and joining me today. And before we close out, I am going to leave you with next week's riddle. Well, hopefully this is a good one. All right, here we go. All right. A taxi driver is going the wrong way on a one-way street. He passed by 4 police officers, but they didn't stop him. Why? All right, I'm going to read it one more time. A taxi driver is going the wrong way on a one-way street. He passed by 4 police officers, but they didn't stop him. Why? That is your riddle for next week. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you all next time. Have a great day.